Hey everybody, welcome to my brutally honest review of the Intellivision Amico. Man, I've been looking forward to doing this review for a long time. It's a big shout out to the Atari Creep. He wanted me to do a response video about what I like and dislike about the Intellivision Amico. So here we go, guys. Sorry for the long wait. I've been working on this presentation for months. Now, I'm a big fan of Tommy ever since I was a kid. As you can see, I got not all of it, but some of the fucking old school Nintendo swag that I dug out of my storage room for this presentation. Got a few other props, like some of the flyers from when I helped volunteer at Video Games Live in Kitchener. So yeah, what I was gonna say is, man, I've been watching this debate between Tommy and Pat the NES Punk, and I've got some pointers and things that I'd like to add into the discussion. So before any further ado, I like to try to finish quick. That's my specialty. Yeah, and if anyone needs that, it comes on bed sheets too. I'll put the link below to my Society 6. It's my saying. Right, the first thing I heard about the Intellivision Amico actually wasn't even the price. It was Tommy, or no, it wasn't actually Tommy. It was rumors that I heard that the Amico was going to have the best graphics ever. Best console ever. And I was thinking when I first heard that, I believed it because, like, old school Tommy back in the day, Tommy Tellerico when he was on Electric Playground, he was all about the latest and greatest graphics. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, Tommy, let's get the best system with the best graphics. But then Tommy came forward and made sure to clean up or correct some of those rumors that no, that's actually not what it is. It's going to be a 2D architecture, and he's going to try to do that really well. I think I heard something that 2D better than what the PS5 can do or something, but that could be wrong too. Right, the next thing I noticed, oh yeah, I should say, I'm going to try to say some positive and negatives. Well, this whole price point at $149 to $179 was a huge positive for me. Because man, I'm like pretty much POV. I had a bad serious concussion in my life recently at work. Well, not recently, 2 years ago, but I'm still fucking recovering from it. Basically living off my life savings and fucking working the odd shift here and there that I can manage. So yeah, this low price point, I was like, yeah, something I can get. And I was really hoping to support Tommy too, so I'm like, yeah, something I can give money to Tommy for. And yeah, I guess the bad point about this price point is the price point change. Right, the Intellivision Entertainment logo. I was wondering, Nintendo has Mario, Sonic has Sega, and Intellivision has this guy. So I was thinking maybe we could come up with a name for this guy or find out what his name is. Maybe it's a secret, or maybe he isn't the mascot for Intellivision. But I was thinking, man, the system's launching so soon, it'd be cool to see a fucking mascot for it. So, yeah, the only thing I like and dislike about this is I love the old Intellivision Running Man. He's really cool. The only thing I don't like is we don't have more information on him yet. Or if he is the mascot. Alright, so Intellivision, the legacy of first. The thing I liked about this is when Tommy did that video of the legacy of first, I was like, holy shit, Intellivision did all these kick-ass firsts. And the only thing I dislike about it is the new Intellivision Amico really isn't doing anything that's a first. So I was kind of a little disappointed in that. Tommy's emphasized that there are some firsts that it does with the controller, but I'm a little slow, so I'm not really grasping it. It looks like pretty much a basic controller to me on a cell phone, but he has that spinning wheel dial, but we'll get a little bit to that later. So that's the only thing I like and dislike about this. I like that Intellivision has that cool legacy of firsts. I dislike that the Amico doesn't have more firsts. So maybe it does have more and they're surprises. I guess maybe Tommy will be filling us in on that soon. Right, the first 16-bit console. I thought that was cool. It's like when I had the Intellivision, it was like I grew up in kind of like poverty because my parents divorced really young. So when I was getting video game consoles, it was always the ones from the discount bin at the second-hand store. So that's how I got my Intellivision. And I was born in 1979, and it was a pretty, I don't know, like, I freaking loved that system. I played it every day until the controller broke. Yeah, so what did I like? I liked how advanced it was, like comparing it to the Atari and stuff at the time. I was like, yeah, it is substantially better. The only thing I didn't like about the first 16-bit console was a bit fragile. Fucking controller broke on me. And I had the unit where it was hardwired in, so once it broke, we actually brought it to electronics repair shop, and he couldn't fix it. Alright, the first talking video game. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, guys. I'll jump back to the first slide. Or let's see. Yeah, it's the first slide. Sorry, I got some audio clips here ready for the show, and I'll see if I can play them now. Now, sir, I'm trying to balance the audio for these. I was prepping it for like weeks and weeks, and I can't seem to get them to play loud enough, but I'll do my best here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll turn my mic down a little, or no, I better not. Alright, let's bring up the first clip. So, one thing that I noticed, a lot of people are surprised that Tommy Tallarico kind of has a dark side, and I was a little bit surprised at that too, because when Pat and Tommy have been arguing quite a bit, but then I was thinking back to electronic playground days, and this is what I heard from Tommy.
Parts of the game is the fact that you can kind of go down this path of being on the dark side or, you know, the light side.
That's awesome.
You know, and me personally, I of course, you know, went straight for the dark side.
Said all the negative things.
All the negative, rude things. I was rude to people.
That kind of stuff is very, very
I
clever,
like convincing people to come over to the dark side.
Yes.
So I say to you, you should come over to the dark side. One of my favorite parts of the game.
Alright, so yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, back when I was younger, I should have remembered that Tommy is always bragging how he's this dark side and he likes to remote people and be negative, so I was like, holy shit, yeah, like, I should have seen that coming. I think what it is a lot of this review is kind of like, I noticed when I was arguing a little bit with Tommy in the chat, it was kind of like I'm arguing points from Tommy when he was way younger on Electronic Playground against modern Tommy, who's a little bit older now, he's matured, and he kind of has the exact opposite philosophies that he used to. And I was thinking, why do I keep arguing with him? Why don't I just play audio clips? So instead of it coming out of my mouth, what I have as like proof of why I disagree with modern Tommy is actual clips from old Tommy or younger Tommy. So I'm getting the older younger thing mixed up quite a bit. Yeah, baseball was one of my favorite Intellivision games, so yeah, it was cool that he used that as an expression. Yeah, and the only thing I dislike about it is, yeah, maybe the new Amico could have some more sort of firsts that we're going to hear about, but it could be a surprise, right? Alright, this is one of the firsts that I'm very torn on. Like, the good thing about first to offer digital distribution, yeah, that's cool, new breaking technology. The only thing I dislike about it, I've never liked the new innovation worse. It's like it was okay for a while, but really, the way the world is going, I prefer physical cartridges now. So this digital distribution method is something I no longer favor. And you'll notice too, a lot of my opinions in this are kind of like me when I was younger and older too. I've like flip-flopped on a lot of issues. Alright, next is the sports licensing. I heard a big announcement from Tommy recently that he got the licensing for Major League Baseball. So big props, shout out to Tommy for that. Baseball, like I was saying, is one of my favorite Intellivision games, so I'm really hoping that that one works out. Like I liked on baseball on these cards, remember how it used to have the bases on it? So if you wanted to throw the ball to a base, you really just had to press the base. You didn't have to aim or anything. You just, it was very fast. Yeah, finishing quick is my specialty. Right, next one. Right, here's the 16 disc directional D-pad. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like, I love the fucking controller, the old style with the cards. When I heard that they were taking out the freaking number pads and putting in a screen, I was super disappointed. Because I'm not ancient, I'm like really into card collecting. Like, I used to collect hockey cards back when I was a kid. So collecting these little cards was something I was looking forward to. So that was a major disappointment. I know Tommy's released these new gold cards or whatever, but really if I can't use them in the controller, it just wins me free games. It's not really the kind of card I was looking for. But yeah, you notice a lot of this is kind of like just my preferences, and I'm a bit of a narcissist, I'll admit it. So it's like, yeah, it's stuff that I want is like a really major factor of why I'm making these decisions. It has nothing to do with other people's opinions, really. Or maybe slightly. Alright, so the next thing we got here is Utopia. This was the favorite game I got for Christmas. I dug through my whole fucking photo albums to try to find the picture of me playing Intellivision when I was a kid at Christmas, and I spent the whole day playing Utopia. I believed it was the greatest game ever at that time, and I loved it. And I was like hoping for more like real-time strategy games. So yeah, this is definitely one of my big things, the favorite at first. The only thing I don't like is that we haven't seen any updates to the new Utopia game. I wish we could have seen something on that by now. But maybe props to Tommy, he's got it coming for a big surprise, I bet, hopefully. No, I almost thought that trailer with the D&D map, I thought it was Utopia, it turned out, no. Alright, so here's the thing, simple, affordable, family fun. I thought that was a great idea at first because I was going to try to get my dad into playing video games again. Then I realized, like, my parents are, like, very old seniors and they're really not into any type of electronics. So to get them into this and downloading apps on a controller, it's definitely not simple for them. And even for me with my concussion, I'm struggling with a lot of things these days too. Downloading apps is one of them. So holy shit. It's like as soon as I heard that downloading apps was involved, I'm like, this is no longer simple. Yeah, because downloading apps might seem easy for a younger generation, but older generations, it's not really so. Then the affordable thing. Yeah, the Tommy was saying was very affordable at first, but then the price changed. So both the first two factors are already gone in my books. And the family fun, it's like, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, I'm the 40-year-old generation player. My family's already too old to play this. And I never had a new family because I've been too POV. So I never actually had any kids or family of my own. And now the fun part is I was hoping to play online games and use it at games night. But now I can't do either. The whole world situation doesn't allow game nights where I live. And the whole thing too is the fun, yeah. Yeah, the games night and what was I saying there? Sorry. Sorry about that, folks. I was just getting a little bit of a brain fart, so I grabbed a little bit of food. Very early in the morning. No, so yeah. So yeah, it was really fun if you can play it with your friends and family, but the way the world situation's going, I really won't have a chance to play with either of them, because I heard that the Amico is no longer going to have online play. So, I don't know, family fun. Almost every of these factors no longer applies to the Amico for me, but maybe on the plus side, if people actually have families, yeah, it could be good. And if they have a job and didn't have a concussion, yeah, it's probably simple and affordable for them. So really, that's the only reason I'm saying this, is because how it affected me. Right, the 21st century chip architecture. That's kind of cool. I'm a big fan of 2D games, so I like that. The only thing I dislike about it is the games that I've seen so far look really like 90s, or not 90s, maybe PS2-ish. Or maybe that is the 90s, I forget. Right, next thing we got here is the onboard interactive lighting. And the thing that I did like and dislike about this, what I like about it is it looks kind of neat, and it's something maybe that is a new innovation. I can't remember any other consoles actually flashing to respond to games. The thing I dislike about this is a lot of times when I do afford to move out of my parents' basement, I get really small, like, studio apartments, and usually I'm living in one room, bedroom, living room, everything, well, except the bathroom. I don't want to be living in the bathroom. You never know, if you drink a lot, that could be a good thing, but... No, so what I was going to say is, like, when I was living in a studio apartment, I constantly had to fucking use tape over the lights on all my devices. Because when I went to bed, I couldn't have all these blinking electronics or it would just light up the whole room. So I'm hoping that the Amico, these lights, when the system's turned off, it's actually off. Not I'll have to unplug it from the wall so that it doesn't have blinking lights all the time. Like when you're not using it. Right, the color touchscreen. I have to say, when I heard the touchscreen, that was my most devastating news about the Amico. I freaking hate screens and I hate controllers with screens on them. And I was trying to figure out, like, I was thinking, like, when I hated on screens like that, it kind of wanted me to say, is, like, anyone ever done focus research groups on controllers when they design these? And then I was thinking, geez, maybe I should ask Electric Playground Tommy for his opinion on that.
Once again, these controller companies must not do any research whatsoever and ask game players anything.
Right.
Because I've never met a game player who said, put all the buttons right next to each other.
Right.
Once again.
Right. Yeah, what's kind of interesting as this video goes too, you'll notice that Tommy and Vic, back in Electric Playground days, Vic was always into the Nintendo minigame system, saying how great they are, and it was Tommy's other half of the coin. He was always arguing against them, saying he hated cell phone games, he hated minigames, all that sort of thing, family fun, he hated it. So, yeah, there's quite a bit of things that have changed. I don't want to be putting words into Tommy's mouth other than playing recordings of what Tommy used to say. No, I guess one thing I like about the touchscreen is, it gave me something to talk about for this video. No, sorry guys, I'll try my best to come up with better ones. Alright, simple positional disc. That was the thing that I loved and disliked about the old Intellivision. The disc at the bottom, it was great, but it broke. So I'm wondering how this is going to be fixed. I heard the latest Intellivision retro console actually had the same problem as the original, where the disc kept breaking. So I don't know, like, when this disc, if it does break, like I know Tommy did that lawnmowing video where he ran it over with a lawnmower, but I'm thinking, like, I'm more interested in long-term product testing. Like, say if I press on this button for, like, every day for, like, 2 years and it breaks, is that still going to be covered under warranty? How much does it cost to replace these Amico controllers? Are they going to be the same cost as the system? So that's one of my major concerns with these positional discs. What I liked before is the old Intellivision one. It was just like a D-pad or like an analog D-pad, whatever you want to call it, but it didn't spin. So when Tommy made these new ones spin, I guess maybe the Coleco used to spin its one, but I never really played the Coleco. So yeah, I'm wondering, it would be kind of cool for Pong, but I'm wondering if I would rather just have a standalone controller with a dial rather than trying to hybridize it into one. Yeah, because Atari was cool like that. They had the regular stick controller, and then they had the standalone dial controller, so when you wanted to play Pong. Yeah, I was thinking, isn't that neat? Like, we should have more consoles that do that, specifically designed controllers for certain games. Like flight sticks, fighter sticks. Is Amico going to have a whole bunch of different controllers, or are we looking at just this one controller for its whole system lifespan? That's my big question. Alright, the arcade style feedback, I like these buttons on the side, but the only thing I dislike is I wish they had the old number pad with those as well. I'm a big fan of the old number pad. Alright, the cell phone thing. It's like, this cell phone thing is probably the thing second most that I hate about the Amico, just because when I was growing up I was always taught by Tommy to hate using controllers of cell phones. And I even tried getting used to gaming on cell phones, and I can't fucking stand it. Like, I know there's old people that play, or ladies that play using their cell phones waiting for the bus and shit, but, like, really, if I wanted to rank all the controllers I could choose from, I would put the cell phone at the very bottom. But, to Tommy's plus, the one thing I do like about these cell phone controllers is being poverty. Say if I broke my other controller, at least I'd have an alternative, like a cell phone that I could use, until I could save up and buy a new, real controller. Right, the next thing is the rating system, and I think maybe a lot of people have been bitching at Tommy, saying that they hate his ideas for this rating system, and I think one of the people that disagreed it with the most is Electric Playground Tommy, so let's bring him on the show.
Oh, the great thing is that this is our mature rated show, so we
right.
can say stuff like
Right.
and although they bleep it out, I still feel more comfortable saying it.
That's nice. You got that all out of your system. It's all good. We can get into the reviews now.
Okay.
Fucking A, right? No, I was thinking that's why I disagree with the rating system the most. It's because I learned from Tommy to hate rating systems. And it's like one thing I knew too. Well, I don't say that he hated rating systems back then, but he liked the mature ones more than the kid games. I'm sure people age and change their perspectives. Yeah, so the one thing I was thinking about this rating system too, it's kind of a sign of bad parenting. Like when you have a rating system, that's pretty much saying that you're just going to abandon your child and hope that someone else will look after them for you, like this rating system. So I think it's a sign of bad parenting skills when you're depending on a rating system for your children. Alright, next is the quality control system. This was close to a tie for the thing I hate most about the Amico. Yeah, like when I looked at why I got into watching Electric Playground is because when I was younger, video game consoles released shitloads of games all the time. Since I was poverty, I couldn't afford to rent every game. So what I would do is I would watch Electric Playground, and I would take Tommy's advice on what games I should rent. He was basically my prophet. It's like back in the day when I used to go to church and I kind of stopped. I ended up switching to playing video games a lot. So Tommy became my priest and gave me all my spiritual advice on which games to buy. Yeah, and the other thing about the quality control system, I was thinking with Tommy and Vic, they always disagreed what was a good game and what wasn't. So I started to realize that quality games, good games, however you want to talk about it, is really a point of view of eye of the beholder thing. Like some chick with huge tits could be really fucking hot to one person, and then another person say, hey, I don't really like big boobs. So anyways, yeah, so that's what I was thinking, like, really quality and good games are a matter of perspective. And I love a market just flooded with games and then watching game shows to narrow it down. Because that's what I used to do when I was watching Electric Playground. Alright, so, yeah, I was thinking too, I almost forgot, there was some other stuff for the M-rated content, comments from Tommy. Tommy on Electric Playground wanted to say a few more things, especially including talking about the girls.
Imagine if there were over 1,500 girls to unlock in Extreme Beach Volleyball. I wouldn't be here doing this right now, I can tell you that. Imagine if there were over 1,500...
Yeah, neither would I. Just kidding. Alright, next thing, we got one more little point about Tommy, what he thinks about violent video games.
Positive side, it has some of the best disturbing and uneasy and scariest scenes you've ever seen in a game.
Yeah, so you can see like old school Tommy on Electric Playground, he taught me that really hypersexualized violent games that are M-rated are the ultimate. So that's why I was disappointed when it came to the ESRB system. Right, and the quality control, what else was there? Pretty sure I covered everything for that. If I think of anything else, I'll come back to it. Right, the balanced game design play, I actually had an occurrence that I was playing in a big show, or like some video game chiptune show. Oh yeah, I'm not wearing my chiptune shirt today. I had a chiptune shirt on when I recorded this yesterday, but I fucked up the sound, so I had to re-record it, and now I have a new shirt. But Sean Hatton did these shirts, and he also does chiptunes. And I'd have to say, like, chiptunes are my favorite type. But anyways, to get on with it, I was at a chiptune show in a museum, and they had some old school video games. One was Super Nintendo and Street Fighter. So when I was playing against some new players, I took the balancing system in Street Fighter and adjusted the handicap so it was on the hardest difficulty for me and on the easiest for my opponent. And after I slaughtered him, he's like, "You're a fucking prick." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Not only did you beat me, but you fucking rubbed it in with that whole balanced gameplay bullshit." And I was like, "Holy shit, man, like, sorry, I didn't mean to be such a jackass like that, but really I'm just super competitive at some things, so yeah, I couldn't resist to do that." So I don't know, this balanced gameplay system is also nothing new. It's been around on Nintendo games almost every game, like fucking, what is it, the Mario Kart series, how they'll give you a boost when you fall behind in the race, that sort of shit. So in a way, some things I like about balanced gameplay, it gives you the opportunity to play against a noob and balance it out. And the other thing I dislike is it kind of ruins the fun in it. Like even in Mario Kart, I always hated it when I was kicking someone's ass in the race, and then I fucking don't make any mistakes and they get some item that just boosts them past me. It's fucking shitty. Right, so the price point, yeah, the only thing I don't like about the price point is the games cost anything. I don't know if Tommy's noticed the way video games have been going with modern gamers. Not only are almost all the AAA games free, but in some cases they'll even pay you to play them. So that's what I was kind of thinking. Tommy has like gone back to the Stone Age with like charging people money to play games. I know a lot of people that play cell phone games all the time only play freeware version games. No one buys them. So like I guess I shouldn't say nobody, because cell phone things do have like huge purchases, but I'd have to say more often than not, people are not buying stuff. Alright, so this kind of hints back at the last thing I was talking about. The fucking, the price thing and why games are free. It turned out like my opinion on downloading content and in-app purchases has changed dramatically. Sort of like how Tommy has flip-flopped. It's like back in the day when games were like, what, 50, 60 bucks? And they started adding in the add-in purchases, I fucking hated it. I'm like, I don't want to buy the game and have add-in purchases. But in modern times, like PS4, it's like they actually switched that now, so that you get the full version game, AAA fucking titles, for free, but the catch is they have in-app purchases. And one of the examples would be like Fortnite. So you can see here that in-app purchases actually enable games to be free. So that's the main reason I love them. So yeah, that's why I like and dislike in-app purchases. But yeah, and there was a little clip here when I seen the sword. It reminded me of a lightsaber, and then it reminded me of one of my favorite clips of Tommy using lightsabers. So let's talk to Tommy.
I like going up to the little Jawas.
Right.
And you hit them with your lightsaber.
They're screaming and wailing and
Yeah.
ducking for cover, and this
then
freak is just wailing
you
on...
wail on Jawas. I like going up to the little Jawas.
Right.
And you hit them with your lightsaber.
They're screaming and wailing and
Yeah.
ducking for cover, and this
and
freak is just wailing
You
on.
wail on Jawas.
Nah, sorry guys, I'm trying to put the audio as high as I can for the clips from Electric Playground, but they're dramatically quieter. I'm gonna have a bitch of a time balancing this. Might actually have to re-record. Well, we'll see. Right, so yeah, it was funny how Tommy was like always promoting the violent stuff. I think that changed over time because in a lot of cases there was starting to be shootings at game conventions and stuff, and you're like, holy shit, maybe all this violence talk was kind of getting to some people. Like Tommy always went on and on over the years how the violence, simulating violence would never actually occur to creating real violence in real life. But then we can see that really wasn't the case. We got these mass shooting events happening at game conventions. Well, who knows? Maybe they were going to shoot people anyways and the video games didn't really have anything to do with it. But yeah, that's that theory. Alright, the time and space leaderboard system. That's kind of neat, but every console's been doing this since like, what, PS3, I think? So, it's good and bad. It's like the one thing I like about it is it's consistent. The bad thing, I wish there was something maybe a little better. Right, the reward system, that's kind of neat. I won't really touch on that too much. Like, rewards are cool. Well, who can find something bad about rewards? Alright, the online tournament gameplay. I do this sometimes with offline video games, and to be honest, I like online play better. But the good thing about it would be better to have this online tournament play than nothing. Right, the store with the in-online purchases. Yeah, the one thing I really hate about this is today's day, I got fucked over by PlayStation more times than I can count, where I bought a game and they just discontinue allowing it to be played. So I was like, holy fuck, I really wish I just would have bought a cartridge and not got fucked over by Sony. So that's what I was thinking, like these online game purchase stores, when I see them, it's like a giant red flag. I don't want anything to do with it. But on the plus side, a lot of people are POV and don't have room to store games in their places because they're living in a one-room shack. So that would be an advantage. You don't have to store cartridges around. Right, the updated graphics, audio, levels, multiplayer, online, and more. See, the updated graphics, I would say, yeah, it's updated over the Intellivision, the old 16-bit one. But to disagree with it, I would say that, hey, these graphics are like borderline PS2. And then audio, I've never really been a big fan of any of the audio that Tommy's done in games. I think it's because I'm jaded that I loved him in Electric Playground so much that when he moved on to other projects, they could never really live up to what I used to like about him. So that's probably just jaded me. Maybe he has really great audio in games. Some people love the fucking soundtrack to Toe Jam and Earl. Right, added levels. Yeah, that's cool. Multiplayer. It says here online multiplayer modes, but when I was talking to different Amico people in the chats, they wanted to clarify that none of the games are going to be online multiplayer modes. So I don't know what happened. Maybe something changed. Oh yeah, I think Tommy put in the comments something about servers costing a lot, but I really don't believe that's true because the Ouya came out with a $99 console and they had online game modes, no problem, like multiplayer online. So there's a little bit of conflicting. The only thing I was thinking is maybe things have changed since the Ouya and it costs more to do servers. But then I'm pretty sure like GameSpy and stuff allowed other players to host their own servers sometimes. So maybe you could do that too. So you wouldn't actually have to pay for servers. Right, the classics remade. I thought that was really cool. But the only thing I don't like about this is I fucking went and played some of the classics on like the remakes, not the remakes, the Intellivision classics on like Sony or something. And as much as I liked the classics back then, when I started playing them again today, I realized that I no longer like these style of games just because I'm playing more advanced games now. It's sort of like if you had a Playboy magazine when you were a kid before the internet came out, but then Pornhub came out and you're like, holy shit, I can never go back to fucking Playboy. So that's kind of how I look at these classics remade. It's like as cool and neat an idea as it is, unless it's drastically improved, it's not going to really be my type of game anymore. It's like I've moved on to 2 girls and 1 cup. I'm just kidding. So Atari Classics Remade. Yeah, this is another cool one because I played a lot of the good Atari games back in the day. Like Yar's Revenge, fucking love that one. Pong, I love that one. Can't really say I liked any of the other ones here. But yeah, the only thing I have against these Atari Classics Remade is I noticed the clips that Tommy showed of Pong are really not that big of an improvement. Because like, what was it, Sony PlayStation 1? They already remade Pong and they fucking did an amazing job. It's like fucking way drastically different, but kept a lot of the same game elements. So that's what I was like, if Tommy's gonna say classics remade, he's got his fucking, his work cut out for him, because man, Sony has already been remaking some of these and they did a fucking amazing job. And if I compared the PlayStation 1 version with the trailers I've seen on Amico so far, I'd have to say I like the PlayStation version better, but I haven't actually tried it, so we'll see. Right, the Imagine Classics. I had the fucking Surgeon game when I was a kid and couldn't figure it out because I got in the discount bin and didn't have controllers. Later I found out you needed to use both controllers at the same time. It's like, yeah, it's I kind of like two girls at the same time. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, yeah. And then I do ancient mystery research, as you can see by my fucking show title here, display top. And the reason I kept my ancient theme for this and didn't make it all video games, there's an ancient prophecy that talks about how before the next golden age begins, everything on the world will become the opposite, or basically the opposite of what it used to be, or what it should be. So I was kind of thinking it's funny how Tommy's gone completely opposite from when he used to be when he was younger to when he's older. And yeah, I also do a lot of breakthrough research on, or cutting edge research on Atlantis. Yesterday I just published some blogs on the location of it. And everyone's got new locations of Atlantis every year, including myself, so that's one thing I really like about this Imagine Classics. The only thing I dislike about it is maybe they'll be too cheesy, but I don't know, we'll have to play them first. Maybe they'll cost too much. Right. So let's see, now we got Burger Time. And I was thinking, I played Burger Time in an arcade recently. There was this university opened a retro arcade and they had Burger Time. I used to love that game, but when I played in the arcade, I couldn't play it for more than 5-10 minutes till I was bored as crazy. So I realized it's one of those games that it was great back when I was a kid, but nowadays there's so much better alternatives, it's kind of hard to switch. It's like the whole thing too, like could I go back to Playboy? I really doubt it, right? Now I was thinking, instead of Burger Time, I should ask Tommy, what kind of game would he like better than Burger Time?
I was hoping this game was going to be true crime street hookers in LA.
Right.
That would have been a fun game.
Of course you.
I was hoping this game was going to be true.
No, not to be putting words in Tommy's mouth. I'm sure he would like Burger Time today more than he would street hookers. Alright. Moon Patrol. I've seen this, like the demo, Pat and Ian played it, and I have to say, like, I kind of agree with Pat on this one, that this is one of the cheesiest games. I would never play it. Maybe like 5 minutes or something, but people that are really into the old retro games, maybe they still love that style of gameplay. So that's some positive and negatives. Toe Jam and Earl. I rented this when I was a kid for the Sega Genesis. Not to offend Tommy or anything, but to give him my honest review about it, like he would review games on Reviews on the Run. Because I fucking couldn't stand this game. I actually thought it was so bad, I almost wanted to return it. And I was like, the main reason is I fucking hated the music, I hated the gameplay. Everything about the game was just absolute shit. And I think why is because I was comparing it to like Mario and Sonic, and they were so much better and polished. The only thing I liked about Toe Jam and Earl, it was kind of edgy. So I was like, yeah, I kind of like edgy material. But yeah, and there was a whole controversy that the guy involved in making Toe Jam and Earl is like a far-right extremist. And I was like, holy shit. And then someone did an interview asking Tommy if he's going to be working on this one. And he said something about he's just helping oversee it, but he won't actually be paid. And I'm not even against the far-right extremists to a certain point, because I've heard a lot of cases that people that are just voting for Trump were labeled far-right. So I was like, holy fuck, man. It's like this whole political battle of what's far-right and far-left, I don't really like to get involved in. So I'm not going to hit on the guy. I'm not going to fucking ream on this guy for voting for Trump if that's what's made him far-right. Right, over 20 brand new games on fucking launch. I was thinking the good thing about this is the Intellivision Amico is limited. Tommy's made sure to emphasize that he's only going to release one game a week. And I'm very against that because there's only 52 weeks in a year. And I kind of like to see hundreds of games, especially on a console that looks like it's mini games. Should be able to pump out like 30 of those a week. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I wish there was more games, like 200. But then to Tommy's defense, these 20 brand new games, you'll have that quality control system. And maybe if you don't have time to watch video game reviewers to tell you which games you like and which ones you don't, so that'd be an advantage. Right, here I just brought up some slides about what Tommy's, or all the employees that Tommy said he had working. Right, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Yeah, that's another thing I was going to mention. It's like the main reason that I'm so harsh on the Amico is because of what my expectations were. It's sort of like when Tony Hawk came out with a skateboarding video game. It turned out to be the best video game for skateboarding ever in history. So that's what I was kind of thinking when Tommy came out with the console, that we'd be looking at the best console ever in history. So that's kind of what, like, I just raised the bar too high. So, I don't know. So not to like bash on Tommy that the Amico isn't the best system ever, but that's kind of what I was expecting. Alright, next we have this guy. He's charged of production. I don't really know anything about him and that, so I'll just skip ahead. Same thing with this marketing. The only thing I would say that this woman here is doing a horrible job with the marketing so far is, well, Tommy's emphasized that the marketing campaign really hasn't begun because he hasn't paid for marketing. But the marketing that Tommy's been doing on YouTube, he's like alienated a whole shitload of people that used to love the Amico and Intellivision just by debating with them in the chat. He's fucking saying a lot of mean things. Like, I don't know, like he has that whole dark side thing. Let's play it again.
One of my favorite parts of the game is the fact that you can kind of go down this path of being on the dark side or, you know, the light side. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I was thinking like this whole dark side image to Tommy isn't working well in the fucking marketing aspect because he's alienating a lot of people. Like, I don't know how many YouTubers love Tommy their whole lives, and then since they've started debating with him about the Amico, now they've completely flip-flopped and they can't stand Tommy. So I don't know, if I was in charge of the marketing for Amico, I would have this woman fired and put someone in charge who's actually going to hold Tommy back on his reign so he doesn't spend all day reaming out people on Facebook. And I don't know, like some of the comments he made to me, it wasn't like he was swearing or anything at me, but he kept saying like, oh, you don't really know anything, so you should start learning something and then you'll like the Amico. And I was kind of thinking that's a really asshole comment to make, assuming that I don't fucking know anything. So I don't know. That's just how it came off to me. Maybe Tommy was being nice to me when he said I didn't know anything. Oh, this chick. Yeah, this chick is pretty fucking hot, and she looks like a princess to me. So I was thinking, hey, let's bring up Tommy's opinion on princesses.
So I was talking to the princess going, close off, close off. So I was talking to the princess going, close off, but she wasn't listening.
You're a sad man.
No, so not to offend her or anything, but yeah, first thing I thought is, man, this chick is hot. Close off, close off. Alright, so this is probably the coolest guy in the whole my Intellivision Amico presentation. I've been hinting at people about this in the chat, so guys, here, this one's for you. This is the information I dug up about what I think about the Amico regarding this guy. You can see here he's pretty cool, that he's the advisor and maybe the main investor. So this guy's super rich and he's the one pumping all the money into the Amico, as far as I know. Unless Tommy's investing millions into it. And the only reason I'm wondering that Tommy isn't investing millions into it, I guess I should specify. What I got here is a huge stack of Video Games Live flyers from the Kitchener show where I live. And how I got these is I volunteered to help Tommy, and a whole bunch of other people from my city volunteered too. And there wasn't great organization when Tommy was organizing volunteers. So basically, he gave whole tons of these flyers to our group leader in Kitchener. She was a pretty cool girl, but I think she was busy with a lot of women's stuff like dating and shopping and stuff like that. And we never really organized any of the flyer giveaways. So I did my best to get as many of the flyers out, but the fucking project bombed. It didn't do well. It's like we had tons of flyers left and I didn't have time to deliver them all. It's like I could have used more help and organization. But yeah, so that's why I was kind of like worried with the whole way that Tommy had been running things lately. When it came time for the Video Games Live show in Kitchener, the first Video Games show live in Kitchener was fucking packed with people, best show ever, and it was run by actual marketing people, Tommy said, not volunteers. And then the second Video Games Live show in Kitchener fucking sucked. Like, I can't even remember any of it was that bad. And then the whole thing was the crowd was empty. There was actually more people on the stage in the symphony than came to see the show. And I know to Tommy's defense, he said a lot of these shows still sold out, even with the volunteers. But I was just thinking, this is an example of how Tommy has switched to using volunteers for some things, and it fucking bombed the project. Like, maybe it was just my city, bad weather, maybe people didn't show up or something, but yeah. So I was wondering too, like all these employees, how many of them are paid employees and how many are volunteers? Because like usually when you hire volunteers, the quality of work you're going to get, not to bash volunteers, but it's going to be lower. So anyways, to get onto the, look at what this guy's all about. 35 veteran, founder of Shiny Entertainment, and here's the big one. Everyone should be putting giant fucking red flags around this one. He's the founder of cloud gaming, or the designer. He's like really into those cloud gamings. And we know with Google Stadia how cloud gaming is gone. The whole kick with it is that you require a monthly fee. So I'd kind of really like to hear Tommy clarify at this point. Will he like put his word that there's going to be no fucking monthly fee to own your Amico games because they're coming from the cloud? That's the one red flag I have with it. And not to mention too, that these cloud gaming things, like if the Amico ever bombed and then it canceled, went bankrupt, all of a sudden you'd lose all your games because they're on the cloud, right? Especially if you have no physical cartridges. And the Amico can't play anything else except for Amico games. So that's another thing I was thinking, like, holy shit, if it becomes a brick, if you can't play the games on it because there's nothing else you could use it for. And it's neat too that he was involved in the Messiah project, and this is where Tommy's got involved with a lawsuit with Roblox. And I'm really not a fan of Tommy's Roblox lawsuit. I know on his defense, the US copyright system probably is going to help him win this case. The only thing against that is I'd say, what is it, Roblox is the most popular video game for his target market. Like all those kids and parents that he's trying to get, they're all into Roblox. So if you alienate yourself from Roblox, you're pretty much alienating against all the people that you're hoping that are going to buy your system. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone's noticed that. Like, I'll get to in a further slide. I believe there's evidence that the Amico is running on cloud. This guy, blah, 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 he worked. I couldn't really find anything about him, so I don't know good or bad. The only thing I could say is he's an advisor. And if I was the advisor, I'd be advising Tommy to spend more time working on the Amico and less complaining in forums on YouTube and stuff. Like, I don't understand how you can be a president of a company and spend like 8 hours a day reading chat on YouTube and stuff. So I don't know. If I was the advisor or in charge of Amico, I would fire this guy and get a new advisor and advise Tommy to change his tune. Not to be super harsh or anything, but that's just how I feel. Alright, business development. I don't know. The way this business is being developed does seem really sketch, so I don't know if this guy's doing a good job either. On the plus side, maybe he's a volunteer and Tommy hasn't had to pay him. And that was another thing. He has Star Trek games as his list. Usually Star Trek games are horrible, so I would kind of take that off. As much as I love fucking Star Trek series, I never really liked any of the games. Okay, here's the industry veteran thing. They're always advertising they got industry veterans. You know when you go to a dentist and he's like, I'm an industry veteran. My technology is from like the 40s. I'd say, fuck that shit. I want a new dentist. One that can actually fix my teeth with the modern fucking shit. So when it comes to video games, saying you have veterans working on the project, A, it could be cool that they bring some retro to it, but B, it's like on the flip side, I wouldn't have any fucking people from the old days. I'd replace them all with new like 20-year-old kids that are fucking geniuses and shit, right? Same thing, another old guy, worked on really old games, including shitty games like Star Trek. And the Vice President of Technology, I believe the Amico is basically a cell phone running Android game, so if that's the technology he's Vice President of, I kind of wish we had a new president. Right, the hardware evangelist, software designer, programmer, that's kind of neat. He works with NASA. Yeah, so that's another one. NASA is like famous for wasting money, so I wouldn't put that on there. It's like, I don't know, Trump is revolutionizing the whole NASA program, where he's actually stopping them from wasting money and actually fucking exploring the moon. So, yeah, I won't get too much into that. Say something good about him, jeez. Looks like he's French, and Canada's half French, that's cool. Alright, so we got this other guy. 20-year game designer. Yeah, 20-plus year retro game designer. I think what was Tommy saying, he's trying to get away from the retro games. So putting this up here, seems a little iffy. But for people that like fucking retro games, that's cool. Hardware software advisor, I would fire him because they designed a cell phone to play video games. And that's like the worst hardware ever. And the software, the games look like some of the worst games I've ever seen. But to be honest, like, maybe there's some surprises Tommy has in the works and we haven't seen anything better. Alright, the communications and events. If she's in charge of communication, she should talk to how Tommy's communicating with people. Like, there's a lot of people that are freaking out about how Tommy's treating them. And to be fair, Tommy has been upfront, like the old school Tommy. He's on the dark side, right? So part of Tommy is like just following the thing. Okay, this guy does Intellivision podcasts. I noticed that a lot of podcasters and YouTubers are all ass-kissing Tommy, and it's like a fucking shit fest. But I'm thinking that's kind of nice in a way, because when you're developing a fucking product, it's really difficult. Like, I've even tried developing my own businesses and products and failed every time. So it is nice to be surrounded by a certain amount of yes men to support you. But yeah, I wouldn't want a whole fucking team of yes men, because you've got to get some people that are going to give you harsh criticism. So I don't know, video game historian shit. Yeah, this guy sounds really cool. The only thing I dislike about him is maybe he should be giving Tommy a little bit more criticism. Maybe I'll try listening to his podcast, and he is. Alright, the fucking date for the Amico. God, Tommy, I'm so sorry about fucking your sister dying. That's brutal. I can't believe that. I know before I was commenting that the Amico date was never going to happen because the progress we're seeing, like the games were nowhere near finished and the release date was coming up really quick. So I was like making fun of the release date, and then after I heard about his sister dying, I was like, holy shit, man, sorry. Actually, I don't even want to talk about that anymore because I feel so bad about it. So it's brutal. Yeah, I hope the release date works out for you. Oh yeah, and the only thing I was going to say about the release date, if Tommy wanted to bump it back an extra year, take out the fucking screens, make physical cartridges, make a whole bunch of changes, then yeah, I would have no problem like moving the release date back. Even Atari VCS did that, and their fans at first were hating on them because it was taking longer, but now it can fucking run Fortnite, for God's sakes. It's a good console now, so I think it was worth the wait. Right, these games. I was looking at these games, and at first I was like, yeah, these are cool. And then I started showing my friends and family for games night, and they're like, dear God, we'll never play these games. They're like kids games from the 90s, or from the PlayStation 2. And I was like, yeah, that is kind of what they look like, in retrospect. Like, a lot of these games, the graphics are brutal, they're old school games. Like, can you really see yourself playing any of these games for more than 10 minutes? Like, these top-down racing games, when I was a kid, they had the Leland Corporation game. My namesake. It's not my company, I swear to God. But yeah, I love those games, but then someone else who was critical of it pointed out this game is actually a VR game. So I don't know what's going on with this game if it's VR. I'm pretty sure the Amico is not VR. It'd be cool. Well, actually wouldn't. I don't even like VR. I have the PlayStation VR. Right, the Shark game. What other people are saying, are kids really going to play this instead of Fortnite? I would have to say no. I'm pretty sure like 99.9% of kids are never going to play these games, and maybe the parents will still buy it and give it to them. So I'm thinking, like, Pat and Ian often argue about what's going to sell and what isn't going to sell. So I was thinking, geez, like, really they're both right in a way. Like, really the games aren't really fun, kids aren't going to play them. But I think Tommy's right that, man, like, he could sell anything and so many people love him that he could release a piece of shit and he'd probably sell 1 million copies. So yeah, I don't know, these games, I could be wrong. Like, I haven't even played Shark yet, so I could be like, holy shit, I was completely wrong. So I'm willing to try it and completely change my tune. Heck, if Tommy wanted to send me a Amico, and I would do live streaming for it, giving my reviews. And to be honest, when I played fucking mini games on, was it the PS2, I got into them at one point. The only thing I disagree with it, like, games have progressed so far at my games night that I don't think we could ever go back to these old school games. Same thing with this cornhole game. I noticed controller weight when you're doing swinging with controllers is a big thing. So I'm wondering, is the Amico controller heavy? And if it's heavy, does it really work for like throwing it? And I was wondering warranty issues too. What happens if you happen to like throw the controller at the TV or something and the fucking strap broke and the fucking controller broke? Like, is it going to be covered under warranty if you accidentally broke the controller playing these throwing games? Like, how long is the Amico controller warranty? I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like, I seen the whole fucking lawnmower video, but really that lawnmower video is cool when the controller's brand new. But what happens when the controller's a year old and you smash it on something? Does it still hold up to that? I'm pretty sure we don't have any product testing that goes over a year long. So I'm a little bit skeptical of this. But the plus side, these type of cornhole games are actually some of the ones we still play at Games Night, so this is one that my Games Night guys might actually play. Right, Breakout or Breakthrough, whatever the hell this is. There's actually a kid in my grade 9 class who programmed this game from scratch on QBasic just to prove how easy it is to make it. So I was thinking, as neat as this game is, it's like a very basic game. But who knows, maybe basic is good, right? Alright, what are we at? 56. Alright, so yeah, here we have this up shooting game. The graphics on the background are cool, but to be honest, like I've seen video game design course schools like when I was at conventions, and they were showing that these classes can teach people to make these games in Flash programs like a couple weeks. So that's why like cell phone games are pumping out these games all the time. They're very fast and easy to make compared to a AAA title. So when Tommy was telling me that these games have been in production for over 2 years and they're not even complete, it kind of strikes me as maybe volunteers are working on it and they're not really getting their jobs done. So the plus and negatives could be fun, but I'm very worried about it. Alright, here we have a card game, and I was just going to say, I got a little clip about Tommy talking about graphics in card games, so I thought I'd bring it up.
And if you're looking for the latest, greatest driving game graphics, you might want to look somewhere else. And if you're looking...
Yeah, so that's what I was kind of thinking. If you're looking for the latest graphics in a driving game, even like 2D graphics, this is definitely not it. You're looking at like a fucking PlayStation 2. And to Tommy's defense, he was saying a lot of these games are still in early development. The only thing I'm skeptical about that is if it's still early development, we're 3 months away from the release. That's kind of fucking sketch, no? Alright, this is one of my favorite tank games from when I was a kid playing on the Intellivision. I really like this idea of it coming out. The only thing I dislike is the global situation right now. I can't even meet up with my friends for a games night and I can't play it online. So that kind of sucks. I was a really big fan growing up with the Bomberman series, so the plus to this, if anyone hasn't played Bomberman before, I encourage you to play these games. But the thing I like about it is I played these games to death, so I really can't even play Bomberman anymore. So I wouldn't even be playing this one. Right, so here we got the Pong game, and as I was saying before, like Pong on PlayStation 1 is so much more advanced than this. Like they changed the shape of the levels and everything. And this Pong games that we've seen so far from Tommy, they got these cool fire effects and stuff, but it's still very basic compared to the reimagined ones for PlayStation 1. Right, when I was trying to get my nephew into retro games, we played a few that had lots of lines. And he's like, dear God, you played video games and all it was lines moving on the screen. So I'm pretty sure that's what the younger generation is going to look at these games and be like, holy fuck, you're controlling lines on the screen? This is really ghetto. On the plus side, it's fucking trippy. If I was high as fuck, I'd probably love looking at this. Right, the fucking Evil Knievel game. Pat and Ian went on about this being a freeware cell phone game. And I did play this almost exact game on Ouya all the time and loved it, and it was free. So that's the one thing I like about it, is I like these style of games. The only thing I dislike is this one should be free. I would definitely never pay money to play one of these games because I can get just lots of free ones. And the whole thing of playing it on your TV, even Tommy said in interviews before, if I want to play it on my TV, I just hit the cast button. No wires needed. It'll play it right to my TV. Right, the whole DICE controller thing. I don't want to get too much into this one, but this reminds me of NASA. There was that urban legend how they spent $40 million trying to develop a pen that could write in space because of the gravity problems. And then the Russians just brought a pencil. So I was thinking this is Tommy's sort of metaphor for that he's made this solution to rolling dice that ran up the controller cost hundreds of dollars. I know I argued with him before and he's saying putting screens and controllers wasn't expensive. But I was like, well, why the fuck did the price of the Amico double then? Or even triple? So if it was me, I would I would just want to press a button and have the dice roll for themselves. That's why I play video games. It's like I play video games so I can substitute physical activity with the ease of just pressing a button. If I wanted to go back to the physical activity, I would just roll the fucking dice. Or maybe make a controller that's actual dice hooked up to the game, like little chips in them, so when you roll it, it affects it on the TV. That would have been really cool, rather than fucking actual weird-ass controller. I know the guy that Tommy showed working on this, when he did the demonstration, it didn't even work very good. So I was like, holy shit, like, it kind of looks really shitty. Right, this is probably the best quality game I've ever seen Tommy release so far in these trailers, and I heard that it was actually made with the money from the German taxpayers. I don't know if that's true or not, but I was thinking, yeah, that's probably why this one looks so good. But I was thinking these type of skiing games, same thing. I could probably play it for 5 or 10 minutes. This definitely isn't something I'd buy the system for. But skiing was my favorite game and my dad's one, so maybe it's going to be really fun and addictive, and I'll change my mind. Right, this one, I don't really have too many opinions on. The graphics look good. I don't know what to think of. But to say the graphics look good, I'd say they look PS2 good. We're definitely not pushing PS3 or 4, or definitely not 5 with this. To Tommy's defense, the game isn't done yet. What I said before, it kind of should be. Now, people are saying this game looks like a role-playing game maker. Like, you can just make this game in 5 minutes. Or not 5 minutes, but a few days, you could design this game and play it yourself. Like, even these top-down games, when I play Diablo now, I'm so over those games. But maybe someone who hasn't played them before would like it. This was the map that I thought was Utopia. Yeah, so I kind of wish that Tommy really just would have released Utopia in the trailer instead of this map. It was kind of a letdown to find out it wasn't it. But yeah, maybe Utopia is still coming, and I'll be like, holy shit, it was way better than this map. Alright, here's this Moon Patrol game again. It's kind of neat, but really I wouldn't play it for more than 5 minutes. The graphics are very PS2-ish. This game is actually the favorite game that I've seen so far. When I've seen this one, it looks so neat, and like these portals and shooting. It kind of reminds me of a souped-up Bomberman. So I was thinking, if Tommy wanted to convince me to say, hey, there actually is some fun games that you're going to like, I think this is the one that'll do it for me. I could be way off on it. And to dislike it, I'd say just the price. Like, holy fuck, am I going to pay that much money to play this game? Especially if I can't play it online, I'm just playing it alone. But it could be really fun, so this is one I'm up in the air about. What do you guys think about this game? Is this one of your favorite ones from the trailer? Alright, so we got the VIP pre-orders. One thing I didn't like about Tommy is when I was at a convention in Toronto and I first met him, my first impression is I heard chiptune music when I was outside in the line for Tommy's show. And Tommy walked past the line and he seen the guy playing the chiptunes. And I was loving the chiptunes, and other people in line were like, turn that shit off, it's awful. So it was my first experience to chiptunes, and when I got into the show, Tommy started actually ripping the guy, saying, oh man, those chiptune musics outside sounded like shit. It's a bunch of computers beeping, like who the hell wants to listen to that? So I was thinking that's just like a preference, like some people don't like country music, some people do. So I'm not going to totally hate on Tommy not liking chiptunes. I was just kind of surprised he called him out in front of a whole audience like that. Like, here's this guy working his ass off out there busting his balls, busking for people, and he liked Tommy. And then all of a sudden, I didn't even have the guts to tell him, like, man, your hero Tommy was actually on stage bashing you while you were outside busking. Alright, here's the Founders Edition. I was really, like, the whole hypocritical thing, Tommy making fun of Atari and Ouya doing the crowdfunding, but then he ended up doing it with the Founders Edition. And people are saying, oh, the Founders Edition isn't crowdfunding, but actually by definition, if you're collecting money for a product before it's been made, that's crowdfunding. So to say that that's not crowdfunding is you're arguing with the dictionary definition, and heck, you even called it the Founders Edition. So if you're going to call it Founders Edition and say it's not founding, you probably should have picked a better name. Alright. Here was the thing that really turned the tide on me and not liking the Amico anymore, was the price. Like, see this $299 price? That probably doesn't sound so bad for people in the US, but because I'm in Canada, we have an exchange rate of an extra $100. So this $299 will actually be $399, so it's basically $400. And we also pay provincial sales tax, so I'll have another $15 on every 100. So that's 30, 60, an extra, yeah, so I'm looking at $460 to buy the Amico, and that's actually the most expensive system on the market in Canada. There's no system that costs more than that. Even PS4 is less, Switch is less. So, yeah, I was thinking, I think I had a clip of Tommy talking about that one. Let's see, yeah, here it is. Let's see what Tommy has to say about pricing.
Price point isn't really that competitive. The price point isn't really that competitive. The price point isn't really that competitive.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say, is like Tommy back in the Electric Playground day, he was all about making price points competitive. So that's kind of not really competitive at all. I know he added in a bunch of gimmicks and stuff to try to make the price point not a horrible disaster. And I think it's these fucking controllers that they ran up the price. And I was thinking, really, when I was talking about the cloud gaming, you know, I'll get that onto the next slide. Yeah, here we are. Like, I was like disagreeing with Rich Review Tech saying, hey, you were making fun of the Atari VCS because it showed no proof that it was actually hooked up. And I was thinking this little slide here doesn't really provide proof either. Like, we didn't see the system boot up. These wires could be going to anywhere. So I was like, hey Rich, come on man, let's get a little bit more balanced journalism. No, I love Rich's show. I watch it quite a bit. I like almost all of his videos. The only thing I wish is he called Tommy out a little bit more on this. But then I was thinking maybe to Tommy's defense, the Amico actually is running it because if it's cloud gaming and these controllers are doing all the clouding, then technically he is proving that it's working because you don't even need the Amico itself. You could just hit the cast button on the fucking controller and you don't even need the shell. Like, I'm wondering, is there anything even in the Amico base itself other than the charger and the lights? Like, I don't think there's any processors in there. The fucking cell phone can run the game all on its own. So why would you have duplicate processors? Especially if it's cloud gaming. If it's cloud gaming, you don't even need that big of a processor to run it. So that's maybe why the cell phones are able to do it. So to the critics of this, yeah, it's like, maybe this isn't proof that the Amico is running, like Pat and Ian said. And then to Tommy's defense, maybe it is. It just runs off the cell phone, so there really is proof here. And the other thing too, doesn't it look like this Intellivision studio is in a shack in my mom's basement? Like, not to make fun of people in mom's basements, because my work situation, my concussion injury, I'm back to my mom's basement, so not that there's anything wrong with that. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like you got U-Haul boxes. Looks like you're in a fucking shack. But that commercial that he played recently, oh, he's got a big stack of toilet paper. That's good to have these days. I heard that's worth more than gold. Yeah, so yeah, I was just going to say about that, like the whole cloud gaming stuff, blah, blah, blah. Right, so what would we at? 77. Yeah, so this was the card game, and I put it up on the screen because there was a game for Xbox that Tommy and Vic were reviewing. It was like this card game with like really nice graphics, like an Xbox game, right? But Tommy was just fucking ripping it, and then Victor's trying to defend it. And then it was a little clip I put of a whole bunch of different times that Tommy and Vic, where Victor was trying to sell Tommy on the idea that mini games for families and all that was a good idea. And Tommy's like, holy fuck, I can't stand these ideas, Victor. It's all bullshit. So I was kind of thinking that's exactly what I'm saying. So I'm kind of like agreeing with old school Tommy and Victor. So it's like, I wonder, maybe Victor these days would be the opposite. He'd be like, come on, Tommy, you should release the state of the art and good games. If they're both going to completely flip-flop, right? The opposite prophecy. Anyways, I'll play the clip here. I don't want to go on too long. Finishing quick is my specialty.
Now, my problem is this, though.
Yes.
Is that the graphics, the sound, everything about this game seems about 10 years old. Now we've put... Now,
Not
that's
10
okay.
years old. Come on. It looks
9
like
years
maybe
old.
a first generation
years old.
PlayStation 2 game.
No.
Come on.
Are you
Yes,
kidding me?
Yeah, it does.
No.
It does. Yes, it does. It's
Not
good.
at all.
Nice car renders. The backgrounds are colorful.
I gotta judge this against other driving games. Burnout 3!
And that is unquestionably
Need for Speed 2
the best
Underground!
arcade racing game I've ever played. I think you agree with me.
Look at the graphics
Yeah.
of that game.
I know. The graphics in Outrun 2 aren't that bad.
No, they are.
I don't think they are. I think they're very
I think
cartoony.
they are, mister.
I think you're wrong. Very hyper realistic, crazy, cartoony visuals. If you're not into the sort of weird, crazy driving style of this game, you're not going to enjoy the
But the
experience
thing
at all.
is, and that's outdated.
But this is really, it's an anachronism. It's one of those types
Well,
of
I
things.
don't know what that is, but if that means bad game, then it is. Then I agree with you.
It's one of those kinds of games that people that don't play games think about when you say the word video game. The good thing about the game is how accessible it is.
Well, simple.
Yeah, it's very simple.
It's the most simple game. Get to point A to point B.
Or you have a bunch of branching.
Old school.
You have
It's
a
old
bunch
school.
of branching paths, a bunch of pipes that you raise
Pyramids.
by. I said the pyramids. There's
Balloons.
tulip
Castle.
factories, castle
Castles.
walls.
It's time to update. If you're going to do another
Come on.
iteration,
This is
let's
not
update it.
This is not one of those games that you scrutinize like every other kind of platform action adventure type thing. This is a
No,
game
you want it
that-
to look better, though.
It looks okay.
It
looks okay. I mean, you
Looks
get
like
your
candy.
family together.
It looks
let's,
like
let's
candy.
review this for what the audience that they're going to play it with. They're going to have a bunch of friends or family together. They're going to play this thing. Everything is very easy to play.
If this game came out 10 years ago, I can
It
understand.
did. It's an update to a game that came out 10 years ago. This is
And
one of Sid Meier's
I rest
first
my
games.
case. And if you're looking for the latest, greatest driving game graphics,
you might want to look somewhere else.
9 out of 10.
I'm giving
I love
it
this game.
a 5.5.
You're insane. You're insane and you're brutal.
You just got to bring the production quality into the 21st century. Oh, ho, hey! I'm going to recommend it for people who can afford it. For people on a budget, there's other things out there.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, so you can see here, this almost is proving all my points, just that one clip that I sort of spliced together about Tommy and Victor over the years arguing about minigames, and how Victor was always trying to sell Tommy on the idea that, hey, all these minigames are great, this is the future. Tommy was always like, these minigames on cell phone are shit, I fucking can't stand them. So it's kind of funny, like when I argue with Tommy in the chat, it's like I'm almost like, I can see two sides of Tommy, like I'm arguing Tommy's points from the past with Tommy in the future. It's kind of a weird situation, no? Alright, so here I was just going to prove, like, here's what the price is for a PlayStation 4, the souped up version, brand new. And you can see that it costs less than the Amico. Right, so I guess to summarize this show, what I wanted to do was try to cover the points that both Tommy and Pat and Ian were making about the Amico, try to make some positive and negatives to both their opinions. And really, guys, the whole way the situation's going, I was thinking when it comes down to it, we're all gamers, right? So we got something in common, and I'm kind of hoping, like, if anyone can pull off this Amico system, it's Tommy. And maybe I'm really hoping that it's going to be a massive sales success, and then he pumps some money into making an Amico 2 or something for adults, like hardcore gamers. So maybe that Tommy could touch on that too. Does he have any plans? Like, he's made this kid system, but is he ever going to make one for hardcore gamers? Like real controllers, top-of-the-line graphics. That's kind of like something I like to see from Tommy. When I was thinking about it, remember how Michael Jordan left basketball at the prime of his career to go and play baseball, and he wasn't very good at baseball, so he eventually came back to basketball. So that's what I was kind of hoping would happen with Tommy. When he left Electric Playground and went off to do his Symphony Live, I was hoping he would come back one day, because really, even if you read the YouTube chat, you'll see that people like Video Games Live, but you'll get more comments from people like, oh, I remember you from Electric Playground, I wish you would do Electric Playground again. So I think it's wishful thinking to see Tommy and Victor work together again, but the only reason I think they can is I actually heard Victor and Lucas speak live in Toronto at Fan Expo together. It was the first time I'd seen them together since they were on the show, and everyone loved them. I was even in tears in the audience, so happy to see them together again. So really, when the Amico came out, the thing I was hoping that it would have was like a game streaming service, where, not a game streaming service, but sort of like a Netflix or a YouTube, but just an Amico version. So they would have like all of the Electric Playground episodes, or maybe direct content coming from Victor Lucas every day, so you could boot up your Amico and watch the latest reviews on the run. So that's kind of what I was a little bit disappointed when the Amico was saying that, or Tommy's saying the Amico is just going to play games. Like, there's so many firsts that we still haven't done in life. Maybe it could be the first console to ever have a video game streaming service for watching YouTubers built right into it, exclusive for that. So I was thinking, yeah, maybe there's some potential for Tommy to do some upgrades. And I was thinking, yeah, all the critics that are kind of bashing Tommy and making fun of him, and I know there's a lot of roast videos that I posted comments that I thought they were funny, but come on guys, we shouldn't really be roasting Tommy too much, because he is working his ass off to get us a new video game console. As far as I can tell, he is putting effort in, even if it is just arguing in chat rooms. At least he's doing something for the community. And anytime someone does something, I think it's better than nothing. Alright, so I'm really sorry, Tommy. I've been so harsh in this video. I was actually got a little shot of vodka here ready that I was sipping on occasionally, just so I can fucking get the guts to actually tell you how I honestly feel about the system. I hope that you don't hate me over it. I know some people are showing your desktop and you have a fucking, from that last live stream, then you have a folder set up for haters. I'm hoping that I'm not in it, because I really don't hate you. Like, my personality trait is I'm always very critical of the people that I love the most. So I love you, Tommy, and that's the only reason why I'm doing this shit, right? I'm not doing it to try to make fun of you or to make money. But as being the king of contradiction, I was thinking, remember Demolition Man, how when they had Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock and they were playing a sex machine? It's like a sex machine video game. That's what I was kind of hoping. Like, really, Tommy, that's the hole in the market really these days. There is no hole in the market for kids' video game systems. What there is there's a hole in the market literal hole for sex machines. Like, really, we got this world situation happening, and I know dating really hasn't been in my playing field just because, like, I get a whole bunch of hotties messaging me, but I don't fucking want to risk it because I'm looking after my uncle who has chronic pneumonia, so I really can't be fucking fooling around in this situation. So yeah, that's actually what I ended up doing, was investing some of my money into this fucking state-of-the-art sex machine on a different company's website. So I'm going to post an affiliate link to that. If anyone's hoping maybe that Tommy would go that direction in the future and release a super violent sex machine, it's like, that's kind of what I'd like to see from Tommy. Same thing how people wanted to see Michael Jordan play basketball instead of baseball. Not that there was anything wrong with Michael Jordan trying out his baseball dreams and stuff, but really it's like Tommy and Victor were so amazing. They were like Cheech and Chong. It seems like such a shame that they're not working together anymore. It's almost like hoping that Michael Jordan can come back and help the Bulls win the playoffs, right? So I don't know, if going forward, what I'd like to see, just as a fan, is maybe more interaction between Victor and Tommy again, even about the Amico. Maybe one day I'll be able to save up enough money and I can actually afford the Amico and give it a better, fair review, play the games and see, hey, maybe I do love them and I was too harsh and critical about it. But really, until I play them, there's really no way to say for sure. I'm just going on by what I've been looking at. Alright, so let's see here. Did I have any other final clips? The final review. Yeah, let's hear Tommy's final review. Just to be fair, this isn't really what he's saying about the Amico. This is just what he's saying about minigame consoles on cell phones.
I'm going to recommend it for people who can afford it. For people on a budget, there's other things out there.
Yeah.
If this game came out 10 years ago, I can understand.
It did. It's an update to a game that came out 10 years ago. This is one of Sid Meier's first games. 9 out of 10.
I'm giving
I love this game.
a 5.5.
You're insane. You're insane and you're brutal.
We just got to bring the production quality into the 21st century. Oh, ho, hey! I'm gonna.
Yeah, big shout out to Tommy and Victor. Sorry if you guys don't like me using the audio clips in my podcast. If you want me to take this episode down because it's too harsh a review, just ask me. Please don't flag my channel and get all the haters after me. I noticed a lot of the Amico community has been threatening any YouTubers that say anything bad about the Amico to get their channels shut down. So maybe Tommy, with his whole marketing campaign, could maybe release a video to tell his fans to fucking stop attacking people. It's not really that nice. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about my channel when this video comes out, but yeah, if anyone wants to help my Patreon and everything on the links I got below, remember how I was telling you can get paid to play video games? I got the links to do that below as well. It's called GameKit, and I have other links where you can get paid to watch YouTube videos. So I was thinking, holy shit, can you imagine the Amico had some sort of advertising revenue deal worked out so gamers that buy the Amico could watch clips of games and get paid because they're getting ad revenue in? So I was thinking that'd be kind of a neat model. And I've also got things where you can get paid to listen to the radio in the links below. So yeah, maybe if Tommy could add something like that to Amico. Like really the way people are so poverty these days, we're all losing our jobs and we don't have a lot of extra income. Maybe the Amico could add some features to help gamers make some money. That'd be pretty cool. Because if even Tommy wants to figure out some of that ways gamers can make money, I got a whole bunch of links and examples below. Yeah, and then I also just opened a Society 6 store, which has my slogan, finishing quick is my specialty. I'm also the king of contradiction, so this hour-long video about the Amico fits that one too. I'll have to make a king of contradiction shirt to go with it. Oh yeah, finishing quick is my specialty, also comes in bed sheets, and I heard it's very popular with the ladies. No, okay, so I'm pretty much just going to finish up the interview. Big shout out to all the YouTubers that are covering Tommy. I've really liked Atari Creeps reviews, even the Review Tech show. Oh, Brian's Man Cave. I think Brian said that he goes to Fan Expo, so maybe I can say hi to him one day if we ever get the world back to the way it used to be. Alright, and everyone, I hope everyone stays safe and listens to all the authorities and tries to get the whole world back on track again, and maybe we can bond together with video games instead of fighting over them. Alright, thanks everyone, and oh yeah, and Pat and Ian, you guys are doing a great job. To be honest, it's like, I found Pat really annoying, and a lot of times, like he comes off as annoying at all, but when I post comments to him in the chat, just like Tommy most of the time, or some of the time. He's actually really nice and responsive. So a big shout out to both Tommy and Pat and Ian. All you guys, I like everyone in the video game community. And yeah, let's try to practice a little forgiveness, maybe a little fucking collaboration. Maybe this volunteer thing isn't that bad of an idea. If everyone comes together, we can make Amico into one of the best consoles ever. And maybe if Amico isn't it, maybe we can make an Amico 2 that's a violent sex machine in the future. Alright, thanks guys, and take care. And, oh yeah, I was going to say something about my sponsor, but I never even did the sponsor message. So, see you guys later. Bye for now. Make sure to subscribe. I'll put a playlist that you can watch. Remember, I'm no expert, this is just my opinion video. My opinion isn't the greatest.